See, I'm circumcised by my circumstance. Cause they capping, cause they capping, cause they capping. So they capitalize on the captains. See, them the leaders in charge, but the pawns, the knights, and the kings and the queens be the one used up. See, that's how you was raised up. That was you was brought to bring. So you were orphan. So you fall. Parents ain't really want you. That mean the maternal instincts it ain't brought up, so it's not truly nurtured. See, you not mature, you just immature. B2K, I am 4. See what you want to talk about. See all the things that they close doors on you. That I know my creator opened doors for me. See, he let me in. See, because I banged down. I took the basher. See, I took the ball to wreck him. See, my ring to get checked in. See, I'm no longer distorted. I'm not clouded by the imperfection that they told me. I'm not aligned to a strategy, to the analogy, to my alignment. So my condensation with my context. See, we listening to the wrong people. That's why they fall line in Congress. See, they the one distorting, they trafficking. See, they taking the rules to the trafficking. You going so many miles per hour, 65 to 80, from 0 to 6. So they got the whips and chains. So we just put it on our necklace. See, we brand us that we already got a lot of tattoos. See, I became the king for one time. I was the most chosen person. See, you ain't get that. Let me cross another line. See, you had to figure out. It was hard to find because you thought you was blind because you thought you was getting revelation from the book that they created. So that's the same thing. You cop and carpry. Don't you break through, the walls are still closed in because you just a mind. So you mimicking what they gave you. See, you thought it was your own thoughts. You thought you was persecuted for the things you do. No, you persecuted from the scripture and the books that they gave you. That's why you always looking so far off. See, it always sound out I'm trying to find, but I know. Because I found out the truth is not out there. It's not up there because he gave it to us. He put it into you. That's why the vessel we clean going. That's why you got strapped up with arteries and blood. I ain't talking about the straps with the guns. I ain't talking about the whips that'll put the bruises on you. That'll give you so much pain. You can't go to sleep at night. You always going to be crying. See, they're you the same slave that they kept now from the 1800s, and it's 2018. See, the numbers still don't change up; they add up. That's that brainwasher. That's that MK Ultra thing that we talking about on YouTube. Everybody an android. Everybody fake. Every time a black person made it, he did something corrupt. But I know if you bring up Jay-Z, let's talk about his past. See, he a millionaire now, but look at all the funny families he destroyed from his past. He was a dope dealer. Is that true, Jay-Z? Was you the cocoa man selling the cocoa to the little kids? But now you're going back in the neighborhoods. You giving a little presents for their Christmases. See, I don't forget about that. I don't know because I didn't do none of that because I wasn't the product of the environment. I had a mother, but my father wasn't there, so that don't make me less of a man. That made me less of to understand what I need to do as a man. But as I grew up, I maturated. I'm mature. I'm no longer immature. But I know I met women that would call themselves mother, calling themselves man. A woman, a man, man, a woman. How was that possible? See, your mind, your dysphoria is all jacked up. So you jacked up. That's why you got to smoke weed just to ease the pain. See, you need something to get you high on life. But if you really truly, you call him a Jesus Christ, that's the fallen star. He called the morning star, came down in the spirit of which one. See, you align to him, but you don't align to me when I'm sitting next to you. So we in the line to see, but you want to look at the other peeps and then you want to blame other peoples for your peoples from being dysfunction. So nobody's coming together. That's the institutions and the system that they put us against. See, they keep putting me on because I got to pit me against you. See, I got to keep digging deeper in this rabbit hole. That's the well. See, we got to pick the bucket down so we gather up more information that we didn't find. See, well off. Now that my evidence look nice, I ain't got to be part of you. See, but I know I'm an example because I stay true to who I'm supposed to be from the day one. From since I was born, from when I learned knowledge from 8 to 35, I'm the same one. Because I am solution. I got purpose. I got a mission and position. I owe honesty and the truth of them. See, the last people that I talk to, they ain't lying their hearts to their mind, so they need proof of them over and over again. You pray daily. See, you crucify yourself. See, you fixed in to word that you don't even trust in because you ain't do no research because you don't know how to begin. So I'm coming to you at 1600 hours and 29 minutes. It had messed up. Saturday, October 28th. Welcome if you first time viewing. I notice a lot of my certain videos have more views. The more I noticed the videos I had views was when I rhyme. I don't write down these rhymes. It can make sense to some people because I'm not here to rhyme. That's everything that if you cohort together, like if you use the word Texas, and this is why rap is whack, it's been whack to me. I got word Texas, I got ass, a, X's. I can put so many things together in that one word. That's a rhyme scheme. I got metaphors, I got parables, I got ironies, and then the rappers don't use them. If you can Google, I was looking at something where Remy Ma was looking at raps. And you know what rapper she chose out of 5 stars to be the best? It was funny. It wasn't the Cardi B, it wasn't the T.I., it wasn't the Jay-Z, it wasn't Tupac. She only gave him 1 or like a 2. She didn't even know who it was. I love that when you look at, like if somebody tell you a cake look good, this is the best cake I ever had. Your brain game, what would do, watch a brain game on Netflix or Google brain game on YouTube and watch it. Watch how your mind get tricked. And people are like, OJ, you just don't know. I'm doing what you telling my brain. If I set a plate of food one way and a bigger plate with the same amount of food, your brain would say, oh, the bigger plate has less food compared to the little plate. And that's not true. It's the same amount. It's the same spoonful. But your mind automatically, but once you start opening up your mind, to me, if you're going to say you awoke, I don't say awoke. I say I have taken the veil off. But I know when I take the veil off, there's still clouds and mist in front of me. Be still, because I wasn't born in the beginning of time. So just because the book said this is a word, it's a dictionary, a thesaurus, I still have to take it with some grain of salt. Salt adds flavor. You cry, you get salt water. So if in the cleanse your eyes, listen to this. This is the funny part. To cleanse your eyes, put salt in the water, shake it up, pour it in your eye. Your eye don't burn because your body produce salt water. But listening to idiots, dumb people and stupid people and foolish people, they say salt burn my eye. How do salt burn your eye? But when you cry, taste your tears, it tastes like salt. When you sweat, the salt in your dries, the salt comes from your pore. You can see the sodium, all of what they put in a lot of foods. That's another thing. If you're going to really cleanse your body, you got to get rid of salt. You need salt because your body naturally produces it, but you're eating fake salt. Just like sugar. You can go get a cane and make your own sugar and boil it. That's sugar. That's natural sugar. Or eat the cane or cut the cane. But when you start doing, when you watch how they make sugar, they make it 4 different ways. Pure sugar, more processed sugar, the sugar that's straight from the cane where they don't do a lot, and it come in different colors. Based on how long they burnt it, the color is going to change. And you got syrup, you got molasses. So if you don't take account in everything you learn and how we get there, to me, I'm not, if that's doing too much for a person, I'm going to be too much. But doing too much as in, I see a 35-year-old woman as me, I'm 35, going, oh my God, I'm not getting my way. I take account of that in my mind and be like, something's wrong with her. She's really got some dysfunction that she's going to die to, but expecting me to be okay with that. And then to call her a woman, and then she quick to call me a man because I don't have certain things or I don't do certain things because I wasn't birthed into it. I wasn't guided into it. Now I know how to do it because it took a time for me to get there. And it was a saying. I was looking at something. I call this the topic of control perfect society. That's what we're going through. Control perfect society. Eras was made before. We should not have to live with the eras that was already here before us. But why are we? And I say in a lot of my videos, I learned to accept as I am. I learned to accept myself as the man I am. If women think you can have 2 in 1, like you can have the bad boy and the good man in the same process, but some women don't think that because they starting to realize if I like this type of man, I have to accept who he is. But they okay with that. They okay with accepting the man that's cheating, that got multiple women. because he can beat up the pussy during sex. This is for the young kids. I'm gonna talk to you because you listening to the. I'm listening to what the kids listening to going to school in the morning, from the ages 13, 15. Because I catch the train to work, or when I be working in certain places or going to certain places in the morning. From 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, they listening to the word pussy, dick, and ass. So I'm not gonna. I don't use parental advisory no more. Because if your children can say bitch, hoe, fuck, if I hear a 5-year-old say fuck that shit, I'm not. I don't have to go away from my words to speak to people. Just like if they got a guy cussing in church, and if I was him, I'd have said I said a cuss word. I'm not going to apologize, but I will apologize for the people that live a life that does do that. But for a lot of people here, and even you that don't curse, you cursed before. Because I mentioned it one time because of the situation, the challenge I'm trying to get out to you, not so much the scripture. And I wish this dude, I hoped that he wasn't going to apologize, but he did. I wish he had to just, I hoped he would have said, as is, we are. I was not here all these years. You want me to stop because I'm a pastor? So you want the truth without the truth. And the guy I was talking to last night talked about, that's not the truth. You laughing at the truth. I said there's a difference between truth and non-truth. You can easily make truth a fact. Keep going over it. Here's an example. Last year, right now we're doing minutes. We had a meeting. During the meeting, I said a dog has 2 heads and 3 tails and 6 legs. You write that down in the minutes. The minutes is the recording of the words that came out of my mouth. Verbatim, exactly like I said. Whether you type it on the computer or you use an audio recording. And then next year, at the same time, at 1,600 hours and 36 minutes, and it's Saturday, October 6th. Well, it's probably won't be Saturday. It'll probably be Sunday or Friday or Monday on October 6th, 2019. I will ask you to repeat what I said. So now let's imagine as we do the dictionary in words, we keep repeating the same thing over. I'm gonna start with my mother. My mother. So 3 generations: my grandmother, my mother, then me, or my grandfather, my grandma, my father, then me. Generations passed down and traditionally taught. So that means we fostered it, we nurtured it, and we breeded it. Because his father, my father, then me. They both was able to use a seed to birth my father, because his father birthed his father with the seed. My father, then me. That's a breed. We fostered it because we kept it going. We kept it away in the way they taught us. It just like the tradition. So we nurtured it. We said this is what it is with no nothing. We just left it as it is. So it can have an error in it. It can have an assumption that society will change a little bit. Just like if a woman make more money now, there's no more stay-at-home wives. If society raised the bar of living and we never understand the beginning, we was never challenged or guided on how to live, as an adult, you're going to have a hard time. Imagine at 18, you knew how to save money and you was working at McDonald's. You think it would matter when you come into a job, when you just say you went from cashier at McDonald's, you went to school, got your degree, you were still being a cashier or whatever. Now you in your profession or you own your business. You think there's going to be a big change on how you save and use your money? No. You're making a little bit more income. Let's listen to the word, income. It's a little bit more than what you used to. If you knew how to take care of yourself before, what's the difference when you're making a little bit more money? What's the difference between a young man at 23 that has a house, no debt, and a car, working at McDonald's, compared to a man or a woman that works at City Hall, makes way more money, or work a job where you can constantly get a bigger bonus? Or you get more commission by your work. No difference. It's got to be a focus. So that means your mentality, your psyche, and mindset have to be focused on. And people that listen to my videos, after you see my comments, Because one dude tried to compare my comment to my, I said, no, you didn't listen to my whole, he called me a moron. But then one guy said, how can you go from saying this and then saying that? Because we went from talking about logic and practical to what your opinion was. I don't never use an opinion when I talk. I use the truth and facts. What is taught, what is shown on me on this earth, that's what I use. If you ask me, have racism changed? I'm not gonna give you no special type of animal. Say no. They go like, how is so? Well, I am this skin color, and from my skin color, if you Google, if you use, I don't care if statistics are fake or they only statistics are not fake. I learned if you take statistics from one area, it's a cutoff mark. So if you say inner city Buffalo, that do not include where I live at now, Amherst. Because inner city Buffalo is called the urban center. It's the circle. So they only outline it. So if you call it the Amherst circle, the inner city circle, the county circle, they only take in certain information and utilizing it. They're not lying. They're not being biased. They're telling you, I'm only using the urban center. So I'm only going to use the inner city. But if you use the whole city, it's going to vary. See, I'm going to make logic and practicality of what I'm talking about. So if you say, how is this guy better than other guy? Or how is this man better? What is his merit? Are you marrying them all because this one is not married and married? So let's go back from the beginning. If you're going to say a person is better, just look at their full life, then the style of their life. So put their life and style together from, let's say, 8-year-olds to their age now. How have they maturated? What is so much better? And then I don't do that because each man's shoes, each womb woman, each man's shoes are different. To me, there's only ma and fa, man and woman, male, female. There's no other type of species. Even in animals, you can produce asexually, but I guarantee you that's a male or female. There's no other species. I don't do the transgender, the queer, the gay. You're not a species. You're not a nationality. You're not an ethnicity. So you still classify, just like if you're Amber Rose, she don't say she black. Kardashians don't call themselves black. Ariana, but some of them want to be related to as black because they have a black father, but you go more towards it's your choice if you want to use your nationality over your ethnicity. It's okay. That's your choice. But choose one. Be this way or that way. Don't be in the middle of the road to, oh, I'm this and this. No, you're not. Now I can say you're mixed or biracial because that means you're outlining that I understand both sides. I'm going to try to understand both sides instead of, and even as I am, I'm going to understand the Germans, so the genocide, the Jews. And a person try to argue with me that if you take one example from, just say, slavery from the Holocaust, they try to argue, say, systematically. I was like, slavery was a whole system. Everything you're going to mention in the Holocaust, where do you think they got the information from? They got it towards slavery. And he trying to say he believed, I know from my spirit of my ancestor, there was no slaves. Because if you truly believe in your religion even give you some facts. When the man has a family, he dies, we call it a widow. We're going to use the woman as the widow. The widower, that means she lost her partner through death because they was married at heart. I'm not talking about the marriage contract on earth. I'm talking about the heart marriage. What was going to happen to keep her family in the community, the unit together, the man from the other family took on her family and brought them to here. So they all became in one house. Or he allowed her to stay at her house and he provided for her and her family. And it wasn't even sexual. Like I see all these people believe in poly life. You don't believe in poly life because you have no knowing of poly life. Poly life is not all sexual. That was like a small, even sex in a relationship was a small understanding. Because if you look at sex anyway, God made sex and almost everything in it. I remember God made a song, but I was like, he didn't create anal. That's the perversion of sex. Oral was the perversion. The pleasuring was the original term. We took it to the perversion level where we see porn. That's part of slavery. It's a slave mind. You enslaved your mind. So now the control perfect society. I just mentioned all those things, and I wrote down the regimen. The regiment is a group, the organizations that keep the perfect society as this all came to me in the spirit. And it's not, and I learned in the spirit as I am. I don't have, like, I listen to other people's lives. I'm like, that sounds well put together. That's cool. That's not how I work. I'm not a disorganized person. But I know once I gotta focus. This is what I gotta stop focusing on. I'm gonna be honest with people. I give my money to people that need help, and I'm gonna have to take a year or two out of my life and stop helping people to that point. So I can have my desk, I can have my computer or information highway as I speak, and then have the books in front of me. I can go buy the books or get them from. I can have better. I don't mind. I don't need a car. I know how transportation works. So that will give me more energy, and I can have a better career and make more income since I just learned how to save my money. But what I'm trying to do, I have to do it in a little bit of a faster pace than the average person. I'm 35. Imagine if I was doing this since I was 18. I'm gonna get my own website, and YouTube gonna be, if YouTube wants some type of credit, I'm gonna go. I gotta read the contract under YouTube. What credit am I supposed to give YouTube, or what monetize? Because I'm not monetizing my page either. So I can just give YouTube the credit and the rights to the video because I'm not gonna worry about that because when I go over, I have a lot of these are saved to my platform. If they say I can't use them, I can start over. I'm not worried about it because nothing changed under the sun. We had slavery before. If we don't get a hold of ourselves, if we don't get a hold of these errors and eradicate them and remove them and delete them out of our society, they're going to happen again. The name of religion is going to be five, six, seven, eight more religions 700 years from now. The world's not going to blow up or change unless a person just say, let's drop the nuclear bomb over the four corners of the earth or as big as the earth can be and destroy it. And let's rethink and just try to save who they're going to save. If that's going to happen, that happens. But until then, I know 700 years from now, your great, 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 great grandson or daughter, or nephew, and niece going to have children. And the world is going to be still be populated. They're going to still talk about this or not. They might say, fuck slavery. Forget about slavery. Forget about the racism and color. They just can sweep it under the rug. But it's not going to change because you're trying to forget what was the truth, what truly happened. Person on the channel, how you know that happened? Well, I'm not going to worry about it that happened, but I know when I walk outside and if you come against me when I'm not bothering you, I don't care if I never knew about slavery. Let's cut that. Let's say slavery never existed. Look how you treated me. Not by the character or the man that I am. You're treating me different by the color of my skin. And that's visible. Because every person that's looked like them, they treat them better. And it's not that I did anything to be even treated different. Not that I even said anything to them. Didn't even look at them the wrong way. I smiled and gave them a warm, genuine smile. But I'm treated different. And the other thing, that's the regiments. We have Amazon, we have Google. I had this dream. I don't know what happened. The creator, the spirit gave me the name of the organization. And maybe it's good the creator the entity of the creator that we trust in did not allow me to know the name. Because I'm special and I probably would have said it. But this is an organization besides Amazon and Google. Even my YouTube log on, everything we do is ran by Google. It was a specific name. It's part of the New World Order. Right now, I think I missed the order or two. We either in the 15th order or the 17th order. I'm only going by the time since I came in to understand what is an order. Like I keep telling this one guy I hang out with, you got to study, dude. He said, what is the orders? I was like, he brought up the Constitution. He said they didn't abolish slavery. I was like, no, it's not abolished. They emancipated it. And it's not even truly emancipated. It's still slavery laws. And he was smiling. I was like, see, you don't even know. He was smiling because he was laughing. Because he could not understand and fathom, like, this dude really noticed. Then he'd say something crazy like this, which I don't even mention this to him. He say, I'm part of the Illuminati. And I say, why would you say that? That's not even real. He said, yes, it is. I'm part of Sponge. Something to exterminate, or a sponge, or the G for, or Negroes. The N was Negroes to get rid of. And it was stupid he said that. He's Boricua. He don't go as Puerto Rican. But he said my father wasn't black. And I said, exactly. He said my mother, my great grandmother wasn't white. I said, what was she? And he wouldn't tell me. And I said, you're not so much. I said, he's not a man. He gonna whip out his penis. I was like, any other dude with a, like, I would have, I said, and that was right there. I'm just gonna let him know next time I see him. Probably tomorrow, we'll see in the day. Like, I'm cool. I appreciate your generosity, but I don't get down with people like you. I don't care if we have a disagreement. You said a lot of things that about me could have been true or not, but you said a lot of things that don't sit well with me. And that's how I talk to people. He get mad if I know he gonna get mad. I was like, I'm not mad at you. He's saying he wasn't mad, but he was mad. I'm like, I was not mad at you. Your view is your view. He had a one-way view. And I don't live in a one-way view world. I don't even live in a world where there's one classification. We keep saying there's no such thing as race. He don't see race, but yes, you do. You don't even like your own women. He's like, I've been with a Puerto Rican woman. I had a baby. I said, you had a baby by her, but you didn't even respect her. But you don't even respect the white woman you with. You having sex with other white women, and you hawking at a black woman. And the black woman, he asked her, and I said, no, she don't like black men because they don't kiss her ass. It's a lot of single people out there, black, white, Asian, Puerto Rican, Spanish, or whatever. No man is willing to kiss this woman ass. And this type of woman is okay. Because she know that she's distorted and corrupted in the brain. She don't wear her own hair. She wear different color hair. She can't even go outside without a mask on. That's called makeup. Makeup is a mask that hides your true self. That's why when you see somebody wearing a mask, it hides who they are. I like the one group, Jabberwockies. It's like, we wear a mask because we want you to focus on us. In which we really did. I didn't focus. I was like, that's not KB. I can't tell. Because then they wear gloves and long sleeves. And then like some of them, they mainly all the same height. You know their movements. But they got so good. The original ones got so good together. Their movements became the same because they working so close together. Just like I say, people look alike after a while. So within that perfect society of the control of our mind, which I keep trying to guide and challenge you on your mind as control. And I haven't said this one yet. Congress. What are we progressing for in the con? So that means the presidency, senators, legislation. So the capitalism. So we captain for capital, for grand, upcoming, rising, major, majority. What is that for? Is that for me and you? Is these laws and rules and regulation policies, is that to help all the people at one time, every day, every single hour of the day, every generation, every next generation? No, we know that. And what are the control mechanism? Advertising. So we got the propaganda and agendas in the order. We got to start really paying attention to what, if I feed you garbage and it smell bad, you won't eat it. Or if I tell you this is roadkill, this food is a certain food, you won't try it. Now let me take the signs down that tell you about this information, and then I make it look good and it smell good. Aren't you gonna come over and try it eventually? See, that's how you play with your mind. It's a trick. Would you be like what you call beautiful? You're more attracted to the person you think is more attractive. You're not more attracted to the person that you do not think is attractive. Based on your mind, not mine. I just said that because I can't tell you who you should be attracted to. Only you can tell you that. So no matter what I say, I cannot tell you. But I know in this controlled, perfect society, if you only see one way, one view, they already got you. I'm not saying Don't say there's not truth. I'm not saying you can't have your religion. I'm just saying study, do some research, take the time out to know what you're looking at, the reading. There's no such thing as invisible, or I like omnipresent, but in omnipresent, you still will get the truth because eventually it got to hit you in your mouth. So what you say is not the first thing you understand. What you see and hear is what's those are the two only things in this whole world that can come to this is these two other things that could only as truth. What you see and hear is only can be the truth that you know what you see and hear. You see, and then you read other things that tell you, well, what you see and hear may not be the truth. Then you sit there, why are you here? So what I see and hear may not be the truth. So what that's going to make you do? So if you listen to that, now you have to do this at the same time. If you will listen to a person or any advertising or propaganda or order or rules, RUEL, that say this might not be the truth, shouldn't you do that with everything? And what they tell you, well, you're doing overprotection, you doing too much. But in this sense, this matter, you're not doing too much because you told me everything in here can be changed. So at the end of the book, you telling me 100 and some odd words are taken out of the dictionary every year. So you telling me that's the truth. Hold on. Hold on. Where's it at? And then is words that's in here that is antonyms or ANTs or synonyms. Okay, antonyms. Those words antonym to other words. That means similar, a similar, like and synonyms is being similar to the other words. So you telling me those words are okay, but the words another person chooses are not okay. So it's too much information you can have. You ever heard if you have too much light, you can still be blind? I seen a movie, people became blind and the world just changed. They thought it was the disease. So they was trying to quarantine people. Come to find out it was a white light. Usually when people go blind is a darkness, but it was a white light. In the start of the movie, she didn't go blind towards the end of the movie, but her blindness only lasted like maybe 3 days or a week. But within that, and it only happened for 3 months. And within that month, most of the world became blind. Then in 3 months, it only lasted for like it lasted for a short period of time. But for us, it's a long. Imagine you going blind right now for 2 or 3 months and don't know if you're gonna come back. So you go into survival mode. I don't believe in survival mode because if you attack me and you put me in danger, I am able and I'm allowed to defend myself. If you attack my family, I am allowed to defend my family. But if my family have knowledge of, like my sister ever been abused by a man, I'm not helping her. It's my choice. And I tell this to our black women. You can protect yourself and be very aware of certain men. If I don't know you, I don't have to help you. You don't have to help me. It's not like we're not obligated. But if I'm going to work within a society and I want to see people better and help, you cannot distance yourself from me. And then when the time in your need, just expect me to automatically help you. See, if that's not logical to you, then you need to just be around people that just willing to, I'm not just willing to die for no person. I'm not even willing to die for my errors because I know I have time to correct my errors. But another person, I'm damn sure, and I'm not even going to lie to you. I joined the military, but my mind didn't think about, I was thinking about protecting my family. Protection all the time don't mean death either. Because I learned after I got out and started reading like Eyes on the Prize, a book, we became, our culture, our race became Christians for we can be saved. See, nobody explains that part. Your ancestors became Christians because the men said, if I become Christians, my wife, and we get them under that same religion as them people, they will stop beating my family. It wasn't out of scare, but that was the way, that was his way to protect. That's why I say a choice. Kanye West wasn't wrong. We did choose to be slaves. Cause you still, cause if you saying you don't have a choice, that telling me you don't have life. So I say unto one, I say unto all. Your choice is your path, your journey. Choose wisely. So if we go by that notion that we didn't have a choice, never in a million years. I usually get angry. It depends on the conversation. But since I'm talking now and I'm collected and I'm calm, and I learned last night, I'm not going to go there. I'm not even going to raise my voice no more. I'm going to just keep talking like this. It's high already. Never in my life, even what my mother said about me, or I know she birthed me, I would choose death to never watch my mother, even my father not there, and my sister. Never, ever, never, ever. And people that I just met, especially if I knew a group of men, like 9/11 on that airplane. Never, ever. And people like, oh, you can talk all you want. I was like, see, they don't test people like us in real situations. If I seen a group of black men and then three guys with not even a gun, even they did have a gun, it's three of them. They cartridge hold, but so many. And it's hundreds and 200 to 300 men. I was like, a lot of us gonna die, but it's only three of them. You are not killing all these people when it's 200 black men standing right here. This is what kills me about my race of people. Fucking thousands of us. I don't care. It's 70% to 30%. That's 40% left. But we don't even stand together with 5%. It's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So that's 6. So the number of 6, I was going to use that number. I'm going to tell you what number of 6 mean. So if we have 6 different divides and separation, only 5% is going to be the peacemaker, the people that's fighting. I'm the 5%. Out of there's 30% of us in this country, this organization, this Federal Republic of America. Only 5% is really advocating. So the other 5, 10, 15, 20, 25% is on different. They own something else. They own something else. They own something. We have yet to come together, but 5% out of 30. 25% is left over. And it's a 5% group that's probably married, that don't advocate. They are comfortable with their income. The other 5% is the gentleman that's destroying their own people in prisons and the jail system. The other 5% is the middle finger. It's the family that does nothing. The other 10% is who know what, doing what, mixed all together. There's a good 5% of people that's suffering. We talking about interracial intermingling. I bring up the others. I'll bring up their side. What do a person like a man like me? I am not desired because of my bad boyhood, because I don't have the what you call that, the instincts to just grab the woman, throw her on the wall, and just bang her pussy real good. I want to make love, and some of the time I want to go real hard. I don't have that mind to like, hey, I don't charm her. I'm not the Casanova. I'm not the attraction level of a woman. I'm not the product of my environment. See, I'm not angry. I'm giving out real, because we all heard this before. This is not new, especially for adults that's mature. What do these men do? What do these women do? That's not the beautiful. That's not thick. That don't have the small waist naturally. That wasn't the track star. That wasn't athletic. What do they do? Do they suffer for their people? But I know I'm an example. But I know I'm going through, I'm not sacrificing, I'm suffering because I'm willing to wait for these women. And hopefully I can find one that's not ran through, dogged out, dried up, hit the wall, that didn't go through a whole bunch of bad men just to find me and say like, wow, his sex is good. I'm just looking for this certain type of sex, which is not always good for you. It's not even stimulating. But women, it's not really stimulated. So if women just keep listening to tradition, saying most of the men are bad, you're going to keep following the curse. Are women going to stay the same? They're going to be with good men, but these good men going to have some instincts in them, like they're going to have to like not give a fuck moment. See, I'm going to be truthful to you. young men and women and adults like out there, or such as, not like, such as the other adults, what do they do? What do the people do that's minding their business, that's trying to get their child through school, and they live in a neighborhood because the income is not so great? What do? They child got to go through a gang to get home. They child got to fight. This child getting picked on. So if I name my daughter Hifa Saiba and you pick on my daughter, what's wrong? I'm wrong for naming her Hifa Saiba, but you okay with your child picking on my child? But this perfect controlled society, the knowledge of, we are ass clowns. We're dumb, foolish, and stupid. We're not mature. If we was mature, 5% wouldn't be working on the other 25%. And then it's a 5% just say one day, let's say the 5% of the 30% just said, fuck everybody. You know what would happen? And it's going to come to a day that other 25% going to have to be like, damn, look what we did. And that's what happened. And that do happens. That's when they get older, but they don't care. So if you're going to use Jay-Z, use the beginning of Jay-Z life. If Jay-Z really sold drugs, he sold drugs to somebody, father, uncle, nephew, or son, that was crack, cocaine, some type of LSD or shroom. And it messed up their mind. He wasn't educating them. He said, I did it so you wouldn't have to do it. But then when he did get there, you ever see watch Blue Hill Avenue? Is it Blue Hill Avenue with Alan Payne? Is it David Allen? Not David Allen Payne. The light-skinned dude from Tyler Perry's House of Pain TV show. I think it's Alan Payne. And the big dark-skinned dude with the bald head. And who else? I know it's Alan Payne. Watch that movie. Watch that movie. That entails a lot of our culture. Listen to Tupac. All of his songs. Go read the words. Go read the words of the music now. You like the beat, go read the word, because it's that perfect control society. Go look at who produced these songs. Who's the engineer of these songs? And we're going to start looking, and if you start doing that, you can start. It don't take a lot. Right now, you can just Google Jay-Z song. Look who the producer. Look who managed Jay-Z career. I can't remember the name of this big old white dude. This looked like he was just part of some KKK white supremacy stuff. And look at the music Jay-Z produced. He made like little repeat songs that Hard Knock Life and all this. But if I hit it in the morning without giving you half of my dough, would you still want me? Yeah, he would. Because according to what the iniquity on the earth that was already errors on the earth, women already shown, as Beyonce has shown, you can be a piece of shit or not so great of a man to a woman. And you can show them through her family, her sister seeing it, Salon, that, and I'm using him as an example. I know good black men, but you won't know who they are because they're not in the newspaper. They're not put on a pedestal. I'm wearing LeBron shirt, 3-eye MET. So LeBron can be an example. He don't have no bad news, or Obama could be an example. But we will find things about him. But in the same means, I still like to ask Obama and LeBron, how much, before you made your money, did you care about men like me? See, before I made my money, or I'm going to make my money. And the guy said, supply and demand. I said, that's not the only way. I said, and I can truly say this. I didn't live a life as a lot of these Bibles, all these things that people have been through. I didn't get raped or molested. I wasn't robbing and stealing and killing people. I didn't sell drugs. I wasn't in the streets. I wasn't out in the world just doing these things. And as an adult, I still didn't do these things. And I still don't. But the suffering of the people, because it's people, it's even, like, I may have done, maybe you may say something was bad, but there's people out there that literally didn't do nothing wrong. Like, if you call my stuff bad, whatever I did or whatever I didn't know and now I know and I stopped doing it, it's people literally that, it's a little young man and a young woman right now, or people that's 35 that didn't have sex then. That's still vert. No, they didn't touch themselves or nobody ain't molest them. Their parents didn't beat them. They had a good upbringing. They went to college and school and they were doing great. And most likely, probably if they got married, they married out of their race. Because in reality, what does my race, and this is going to be, if I'm not under if I'm not under all of what the things women describe me as, what do my women in my race have to offer me? And then as a man in a whole, I don't see myself without a racist. And I tell people, some people don't have that. If they not what they if they don't have the attraction part to all a woman in their race, a lot of women out of their race not really so attracted to them. They like the demeanor about them. But soon as they say like I'm not attracted to white women, and it's not because of hate. I look at a white woman, I don't see my mother. I don't see my mother. People's like, well, you see her skin. Like, you never know. I was like, no, I don't know. My mother still had to go through blacks only door. I don't know a white woman that, unless I met a white, I want to ask the white people that we call white, quote unquote, black and white, I want to use those, or indigenous or caucus people. I want to ask a caucus person, how many of them walk through the blacks only door? Since we are created equal, people like to use the terms now, and I'm sorry, I'll apologize for this if it always go back to race, because what affects you in life is what the perfect control society deemed for me to not talk about no more. Like the real truth. How many caucus people went through the indigenous where it said black only, quote unquote, and it had quote black only, quote white only? How many of them went through the black only door? They say a lot of them died for me. Did you really die for my mother? Or I was telling the people, did they die to be? They didn't have a true purpose. They like a person like we just say, if a man don't stand for something, he fall for anything. That's not true. Because a person don't know what I. If I tell you I still trust in the Creator, you call him God. I call him Creator. And you keep saying he is faith, his will is faithful, and I say I'm not going away from that. And you keep saying, well, Jesus is the Savior. I was like, I'm not denying my Creator is my guider. So you can call him your Savior. Your understanding is just a little different from mine, and I'm not going away from being the person he made me to be. I'm not out here. I was like, so let's compare me to, if you want to do that, let's compare a Christian to a person that's good. You beat a woman before. You got to constantly ask for redemption and not redemption, repentance. I don't need repentance. I'm not beating on no woman. I don't have to repent of a woman. I'm not using a woman. You're womanizing women. So your repentance is to stop. I hurt the women I womanize. Cover those women. I'm doing the only the man way. Please cover those women that was hurt by because we didn't work out because her children was I couldn't take her children. I have patience, but my patience ran dry when if I didn't birth this child and the discipline can't be at the level which this child needs. I'm not going to stay with this woman because the discipline is not there. So I'm not going to be with someone that don't understand discipline is important. I don't care how much sex we had, how much time I love her. I have to hurt for a while because I know if this child do not get disciplined, this child will not have a good life. This child life will be hard. And when you talk to people, don't let them run your mouth, don't words in your mouth. A guy kept saying, you keep saying the white man made you oppressed or the Arab. He's like, well, you say Arabic people had slaves too. This isn't that. I was like, that never came out of my mouth. He said, you said we are not this and that. I was like, and make sure when you talk to people that cut them off. I didn't say that. That's not what I meant. Once you cut me off from my full sentence, you did not get the whole understanding. But if you were talking and you allow people to talk for 10 minutes, you're like, can you stop for a minute? If I can answer some of your questions so I don't forget and they won't stop. And you start talking for 30 seconds and they butt in. It's like we never can. That's not a dialogue. We can never come to a common ground or anything common to understand from one another. That's that perfect controlled society. You want to talk and they won't allow you because they say he said, can you deny somebody First Amendment? I said, yes, you can. Because if you go to YouTube and I speak and YouTube say I cannot say what I'm saying, that's denying me my First Amendment. And what is that called? That's part of the Constitution, of freedom of speech. Freedom. But it is. They didn't deny me. Because so I would say let's change that. Do not deny my freeness of speech. So they use the word DOM at the end of free. Because doom is dome or DOOM. The abbreviation of doom is DOM without the O. So if we're going to play with words to be good, that means you have to have the creator. I don't call him God. The creator in you, the real creator. Because the word we use, God, has no power and it means demon. Because we read right to left and dog means servant. And every other German, Japanese, Asian culture, it is mean demon. And I just learned East Asia and was not part of the indigenous, aboriginal, whatever you want to call it, black, African descent people. I thought it was from what I read. Because they said at one point, East Asia was connected to Africa. And I found out it was never. But in our understanding of the information that we was received, Asia, East Asia it was more a part of something else. I cannot recall. It's not coming to my head. I just read it yesterday when I was looking up the Constitution. And then he asked me about the Constitution, kept saying, what's your whatever, whatever. I was like, you ever heard of, and I told him there's federal laws. He said, explain the Constitution. When I was explaining it, he kept wanting me like, I'm not going to give you the amendment. You told me to explain what is the Constitution. I said under federal law or code through the state. I said, you ever heard of unitary law? Look this up. I said, he also said, look it up, show me. And then I looked it up. He didn't even want to look at it. So I said, you talking out of the side of your mouth. And I said, go to the library. Like, you go get the book. I was like, no, because you're not even reading what's on the information that you watching Netflix and reading a guy named Ken Burns called The Civil War. And I said, no, that's not about slavery. That's about the Civil War, which we are 50 years out. I am 35. 35. That's 15 years. That's a 15 years different. My mother's 62. My father's 69. 19 years different. And the 12-year difference for them. So, and they went through that door. And they telling me that it still is the world is only can choose. I have to, the eras that was already before me in this controlled perfect society, I have to stop talking about that. I have to build myself up in a way where I am accepted. So I have to fake it to make it. But instead, you can be on a budget and still get to where you need. I'm going to start bringing more of that up. But it's hard. I am more spiritually inclined to talk about like dignity. When was the last time you heard the word dignity? That's the honoring of yourself. That's the respect of yourself. Women of my race have lost that. See, dark-skinned women was classified as ugly. They called them monsters, char baby, choco. They call them the dark-skinned men silverback gorillas, apes, woolly mammoths, African booty scratchers. But now if you look, and that's why I love the dark-skinned women, because my mother is dark-skinned woman. And I'm close to being dark-skinned too. And they were so respectful of themselves. Now if you go on, and then you got Instagram. What the hell is an Instagram or social media model? Now, I don't respect the modeling industry as we respect it, but damn, they make a contract. They make $100,000. The one lady named Jessica White in high school, I liked her. I thought she was beautiful. I still think she's beautiful. I don't know what she do now. I see her. I had her on her Instagram. I guess she live in New York. And on the PA system, when I was in, I didn't know. I didn't even see her till like the half of the year. I didn't even know she even went there to Kensington High School when it was there on Suffolk, like like not even a 5 minute walk from my where I stayed at to the school I went to from ninth grade to 12th grade, and I survived. I grew up in that neighborhood that was killing people and fighting. My mother didn't allow that. She made sure we was in the house. So it's, but and I'm grateful for the Creator for not allowing me to be my life to be taken early, because I wouldn't be able to do this. I wouldn't be able to go outside and talk to young indigenous men, African descent men like me, and ask them about their dream and say, man, I don't have the tools. You see, I'm walking like you, but man, I've just lost 15 pounds. I'm riding this bike. And what this world gonna tell you, that's not even good enough for you on your own accord to become your man. But then dish you at 35 and say you're not man enough when you had lack of guidance, not teachings or instructions and all. I mean, just straight guidance. You had lack of examples. And I was like, I want to be a little example to you. You can get a car. I don't like driving. I like if I enjoy driving, I wouldn't be riding this bike. But I don't enjoy driving. And I told him I got used to my bike now. It's just as recent. I told him, oh my God, he cool. He was a cool young dude. He looked like he ready to kill somebody. I'm happy I talked to him. He was so mean looking. After that, he smiled. When he smiled, he had white teeth. No homo. He had nice eyes. He smelled good. He's trying to impress the girl. I don't know if he had girlfriends. He didn't have a cell phone. I think he had a iPod. And he little knowledge in him. But he still didn't have the guidance because I asked him about what he wanted to do. And I said, truly, how you going to get there? He didn't know. He said, just go to school. I was like, that's correct. But I told him, go to the library and ask questions. The people you don't want to talk to, whether you think they like you, what color they not, and ask them, every dudes like you buying clothes and stuff from. Ask them, and a lot of people, you would be very shocked if you just walk up to them and like, how did you do this? And it's not so much them telling you, like me telling you, well, I went to the library, I got a book, I read the book, I did this, and it was these free seminars. These community centers got free seminars. And what was this information? I told it in my last life about how to do something, literally how to do it. And sometimes I get information and I want to share it real quick. I know it's for me, but I want to be the example that I told the Creator. I'm going to be the example right now. And to be honest, I truly I hate people right now because the same dude that destroy families is making millions. But at the same time, what I hate him for, he didn't go back and help those families. That's what I hate. And if that make me a bad person, I take on the bad guy role for not actually hurting and destroying people's lives. But I know that me as example to me meaning some little dude is watching me. Somebody was watching me. And if you're not watching me, let's say you're facing like me. It's a wall here and a wall here. And I come in front of you behind the wall and say, I'm going to help you. And I don't have time to help you at the time. I say, let me come back. Then if a person say, well, a person was complaining about you in work, I was like, well, I have to take care of these people first. This other person been sitting here all this time. They waited they want to do something at a certain time. And I told them that time is not promised. Do you want to do it now? And if that person say no, I was like, well, if you say no now, you're going to have to wait a little longer. But you leave and you go around the corner. They can't see what you're doing, but they're going to go complain. What kind of BS is that? What is they complaining for? You already told them this is how it works. And if they don't accept it, what more can you say and do? But keep going back and reiterating, this is how it works. Then when they see you again, it's like, and you explain, this is how it work again. And then they still complain. It's like, you can't do nothing. I remember Martin Luther King say, if somebody punch you and you hit them back, they punch you and you hit them back. Don't matter who started, the one that stopped and then they apologize and they show their apology like, okay, I punched you. Here's a gift. Sometimes you will give a gift. This is a peace offering. This is something I'm going to do because whether I started or not, I didn't have no hate or animosity. It was just the event and the situation we was in. Here you go. I'm sorry. You apologize. But if that person keep wanting to push the needle forward and dig it in deeper, he said and this is like, I know this is from the spirit. He said there's no more you can do. So as people keep trying to hurt you, there's no more you can do. That's all you can do. Because they're going to allow themselves to be controlled into this perfect society till they realize a lot of us going to be alive to see a lot. To me, 8 decades of life, that's 80 years of living. That's 8 scores. Because one score is a decade. We call them a decade. That's 10. So when you get one score in tennis, it's 10. You get 10 points. You go 10, 20, 30, then you go 40. That's 4 scores. Then by the fifth, and don't let me confuse it, because there's set and matches. I always get that confused. One set, some sets you go to 3, 4, or 6. It depends on what round you in. So if you in the first, let's say you in the last round, you got to win 6 sets. Is it 6 sets or matches? No, game, set, and matches at the end. So for the first part, I don't know what you call the first part. I gotta look that up. You gotta win 6. So it's like the best out of 6. Then it's if you gotta win. Okay. Yeah, it's 3 sets. And within every set, you gotta win 6 games. So you got to go 10, 20, 30, 40. And then after the 40, and if a person get 40 when you get 40, you got to break the tie. That'd be 1. Then you got to go 10, 2, 4. You got to go 10, 20, 30, 40. Get that 5th one. That's 2. So now you can be up 2-0. They can come back because it's the best out of 6. But that don't solely mean you're only going to play 6. The first one to 6 wins that set. Then in the second set, you got to do the best out of 6, and then the third set. So you can win 6-4, and then the other person they win 4-6. You're tied, and then you get down into the best out of 6, and then the tiebreaker if it's tied, and then you can go through that so many times. So you can be playing up to 2-3 hours, one person, 1-on-1. And to me, I reiterate, I try to, when I think of other things, your biggest competition is yourself. To sharpen your sword, you need another person. So if I was going to say I'm the best, I don't want you injured. Because if I'm not injured, I don't want you injured. I want to go through you. And I want to say I beat the best to become the best. Not so many saying you're better, I'm the best. But if you're not around a person in the same era, so you have to accomplish as much as they accomplish. But some accomplishments is chosen by awards. There's a voting team. So you got to remember there's a voting team. So 50 years ago, the team was different than 50 years now. So let's make it LeBron James versus Michael Jordan. The people that voted Michael Jordan saying, well, LeBron don't have a defensive player of the year. A lot of people that voted Jordan defensive player of the year is no longer in the NBA voting system. So that is an award given by people. But remember, awards by people can be corruptible because people have prejudices and biases. That's why you don't so much fall on other people's account. See, society is other people. So if they looking at certain things in a certain way, it's a con. See, they connection. See, they connected through each other. They had to make a choice. It's a voting system. So that don't mean Jordan played better defense than LeBron. Because if they both average 2 blocks a game through their whole career, how is your defense better than mine? You didn't average 1. You didn't even edge me by 5 attempts. Let's say we both averaged 2.3 steals a game, our career. We averaged 1.2 blocks a game, both of our career. We both averaged the same exact numbers in different eras. with a different voting, and this is not an excuse, this is logic and practicality. How was one better defensively than the other? Because you said the award is given to the best defensive player. I'm quite sure. So LeBron been in the league. He's never given the best defensive player, no matter how many game-winning blocks he have, because that's not where you're going by. You're going by a set average. Because some games he can have 5 blocks, and the person that's leading the blocks could only have 2. But if he's leading, if he average, you only averaging 1 a game, and you have 5, and he averaging 2 consistently. To get an average, it takes 10 to 12 games. So for 10 to 12 games straight, you would have to average 5, and it depends how many more games you played. So every 10th game, your average will be raised if you keep it at a high mark. So if you normally average 3 steals, you got to average 6 for your mark to go up to like 5 or 4 steals a game. And then another 10 games go to, you got to keep that. You got to keep getting 5, 5, 5, 5. Or you got to get 10, then you got to get 3. Then you got to get 5, then you got to get 3. You got to keep your average with a great amount of steals with whatever you have. That becomes your average. That's how averages work. So to say that one is better with the same numbers is impossible to conclude, because then that would then we would take away logic and say, well, you have to make an opinion. So a lot of voting is opinion based. It's not fact and not truth based. If to say that in big moments, I'm not clutch because you miss shots, but as you factor in blocks, points before that missed shot, execution, no, we only going to factor in what we want, because the other person, we're going to ignore he got the ball stolen in game 5 at the end of the game. But the other person, we're going to look at it like, wow, he lost the series though. The other guy went 6-0 in game 7s, or he never made it to a game 7. But we're going to count that there's the other players around him as another player. Well, he's 6-0. He never been chosen for an All-Star game. But then there's a new era team that they choose the whole lineup for the All-Star game. But back in the day, they wouldn't choose the team that's 72-10. They wouldn't have 4 All-Stars. They only taking the top 1 player as the All-Star. But the other player that's like the if we're going to say like the Batman, you got the Batman and you got Robin. The Robins don't get to the All-Star game. Now they're giving the Batman, the Robin, the Green Arrow, and the Catwoman. Well, the Catman, if we had to, let me choose another one, like something similar to like another, like a sidekick. The starting 4 can make the All-Star game, including the person that's not even that good. He can make the backup roster. See, back then, they wouldn't have that. See, I know I'm going to different tangibles to make, or intangibles to make tangible, but that's the society we live in. Nobody is not going to take the time out and say, well, this is why this is happening. What's the perfect controlled society? What is happening inside society that is, I know that is the supply and demand of a business, but why can't, if you bring out the same supply and demand and you actually have something different, why aren't yours working? Because it's not going to work all the time. See, nobody's going to say that. They're going to say, well, you need to try hard, do something different. The other person didn't, so why should you? And then if you do, just remember that errors was made before you was alive. And it sounds funny. At the end of the day, you have to suck it up. Because you got to work in your purpose. You got to work in your position and then your mission. And if you have good, positive moral values and ethics, you don't got to worry about it. You keep your affirmations. I love me. Reinforce it. I am great. And your empowerment. I am a loving, great person. I'm doing my best I can. Those errors don't fade. You're not naive and don't acknowledge them. But just sometimes you just have to like ignore them and your own acceptance, and you don't have to compromise yourself. You can accept it and be okay and still find that joy, that happiness that you can have. Shalom.